Hey there, I am back with another deck preview, and today we're going to be looking at Rebirth from Ark Playing Cards. This is part of a 3-deck eclectic series from Ark that's funding on Kickstarter as we speak. It's called their Light Series Playing Cards. Interesting and really distinct set of decks. All three of them are completely different. You have Reminisce, which is kind of a nod to classic decks of history, Vertical, which is a hardcore look at more modern cardistry decks, and then this more ornate and classical deck with Rebirth. Thank you to Ark for sharing all of these decks with me so that I can share them with you guys. And if you like what you see here, go check out the other 2 videos where I'll be looking at Reminisce and Vertical, and check the link in the description where you can check out the Kickstarter campaign for yourself. But Rebirth, like I said, that more ornate and classical look comes in 2 different versions. You have the standard and the gilded, and then within that you have 2 colorways, the purple and the white. I'm going to be looking at both of the gilded versions of the deck, so you get a chance to see those. We'll look at both of them, but let's start off with the purple version. Now, right off the bat, you'll probably be drawn to the same thing I was, and that is the best feature of this entire deck, and that's this beautiful sculpted tuck case. It's done on what they call a double 3D embossing. Not really sure what that technique is per se, but it is a beautiful effect with super deep embossing against this deep purple pearlescent stock tuck case. Really love how it was done. The detailing in this one, the look of almost like flames or leaves flowing throughout the entire deck. And then of course the heavy use of the gold foiling in the form of the tree here on the left, and very simple branding at the bottom with Rebirth playing cards. If I zoom in, you can see just how deep and detailed that embossing is, from the small lines of shading all the way through. It is one of the best embossed tuck cases I think that I've seen in a long time. So phenomenal job on that. That gold tree, that tree of life on the side, wraps all the way around to the side of the tuck case and to the back, giving you that brilliant splash of gold, and then all the rest of the space filled with that purple. On the side here, you get a designed and distributed by Ark Playing Card Company. The blank bottom here, this is where on the final deck, the sticker seal will be applied along with the numbering. The standard version is gonna be limited to 1,000 decks, and the gilded to just 100. Top, more of that embossed patterning. And then as you open up the inner flap, more details on there. No ink, just deep, deep embossing all the way through. Same on the inner flaps, and then nothing printed on the interior of the tuck case, although that embossing is so deep that it almost forms a pattern of its own on the interior of the tuck case at the same time. So beautiful, striking tuck case. Can't say enough about this one. Just the feel of it, everything about this I think is great on the tuck case. All right, but now into the cards. And right off the bat, you may have seen that gold gilding on this one. Great match with the purple, gold and purple classic combination of royalty. And that gold really matches great with the gold foil on the tuck case. So great job with the gold gilding on this one. Really adds in, even more to the luxury of this one. Let's take a look at the back design, and here it is. So back design, again, very ornate, has a lot of the same design elements. All those leaves are licks of fire that kind of flow into place in purple and gold, or almost kind of a yellow here to form the design. You get that circular design, and then kind of a diagonal pattern of the leaves flowing to the 2 corners. The border here made up of more of those sort of twisting leaves throughout. I would have liked the yellow to be this orange or yellow gold color to be a little bit more classic gold, maybe even metallic ink. I think that would have looked a little bit better. This has definitely an LSU look to it, which not my favorite school, but also I think just kind of a little bit too bright of a color scheme for this one. That said, still really beautiful. That deep purple I think is a great color on playing cards, and you'll get a little bit of lighter purple line work in the back that kind of fills in that empty space. Depending on how you hold this can be a little bit much on the empty space, but when you get it up close, those veins in there kind of fill in the space and leave it feeling a little bit less empty. The border around here, it's kind of an ivory or grayish white color, and you can see the little lines, and I'll call them the veins in there as well, just to give it a little bit of extra texture to the border. Micro thin border all the way around. Kudos to TWPCC, Taiwan Playing Card Company, who printed the deck. Phenomenal registration to pull off borders that are that thin. So there's your back design. You get a pair of jokers. It's a diptych joker, 2 jokers that combine to form a single image. And it's just like we saw in the tuck case, it's the tree of life, formed of licks of flames or leaves all the way through, done in a mixture of purple and gold. Really beautiful, ornate feel to them. I definitely get a little bit of like a Seasons Playing Cards vibe to this. Definitely kind of seems to follow in that same aesthetic. But I think it's really quite beautiful. I love diptych jokers. I think they really kind of add a little bit of an element of fun to the deck. And then under the tree here, in the shade of the tree, you just have Joker written there. Really like how everything in here just has an organic feel. That kind of mosaic look I think is really cool. 1 ad card just for Ark Playing Cards, Continuous Exploration and Infinite Innovation, produced by D. And then we get into the aces. There's no one power ace. All 4 aces feature that larger than life pip in the center, all made up again of the mosaic leafwork pattern that we saw everywhere else on the tuck case, all done against that mosaic background as well. Really beautiful organic feel to these while still maintaining the classic shape. So your black cards are done in kind of this deep dark gray with the yellow gold mixed together, and then the red cards are done with a dark purple against the gold. Small pip and index in the corner. My only knock on this is the difference in the color. There's not much contrast between your black and your red cards here. You'll see, especially you get them in the wrong light, those are both really dark colors, and it can be a little bit hard to distinguish between the 4. That said, on the pips, the purple shows up a little bit better. Just wish it had shown in the indices a little bit more. So there are your aces. Number cards all feature nice fat pips in the center, kind of done with that same style once again. 4 or 5 leaves that are curled up together in black and gold on here. So like the larger pips, nice, big, easy to read. And where the indices on the red cards don't show up as well, you do see a good bit more contrast on the pips themselves. That purple looks just a little bit brighter on the pips. So purple and gold for your red cards, your diamonds and your hearts. Your clubs and your spades going to be done in that deep gray and gold, or almost yellow, I guess I would say. But nice pips. Again, I still get very much a Seasons vibe to these. Seasons Playing Cards, I think, has a similar aesthetic to them, but like what was done on these. And then we get to the quartz. And the quartz all have very much a classical feel to them, but they're redrawn with some really ornate artwork. The faces of the cards, all of them 2-way quartz, are done in kind of a sketch style, almost an intaglio style of artwork. Really beautiful faces, not much emotion on the faces. They all have this kind of impassive look on their faces. But then the clothing is where it really kind of comes to life and flowing throughout. Again, that same organic style with the leaves flowing throughout and forming their clothing. Purple and gold clothing with little accents of that black color. Just really beautiful design on these. And you'll see they all have classic implements like the ball that the King of Spades here is holding, or the flower and the Queen of Spades. So definitely reminiscent of your classic court cards while giving them new life with the really beautiful style of this deck. No real difference in the color scheme as you go from black quartz to red quartz. They all kind of follow the same basic color scheme to them. And there's no, each one of the quartz is different, which I like. There's no repeated quartz or anything like that. Would have liked to maybe a little bit of backstory on some of the quartz. I'm always a fan of backstory. It looks like these guys might have a story to tell, but nothing really added to these. I will say the King of Hearts is not done in the classic suicidal king pose. Instead, just has the staff or sword there at his, kind of raised to his front. But beautiful design on these. I really, really like the artwork on the court cards. I think another one of the big highlights of the deck. And that is the deck, or at least that is the purple version of the deck. Now let's take a quick look at the white version of the deck, just to talk a little bit about differences. Obviously, for the most part, this is going to be a color swap. That deep white, or almost kind of an ivory color, looks great with that pearlescent stock. White and gold, or ivory and gold, is another classic combination. Definitely has a little bit more of a monochrome feel as opposed to the pops of purple that you saw on the other one, but a unique, interesting, and beautiful look in itself. The gilding on this one, just like on the purple version, is also gold. So you do get more gold gilding on these. Another great tuck case overall. And then the cards themselves obviously also feature some color changes. From the back design, which is now done in ivory and gold. This one I don't like as much. Here, that ivory really starts to feel a little bit like blank, empty space. That kind of, the design sort of gets lost in there. It's still ornate, it's still beautiful. I just think something could have been done to fill in some of that empty space and give it a little bit more interest to it, but still a nice classic feeling back design. And then as you get to the cards themselves, you'll see some slight color changes on these. So here now the spades are done in that black and gold. And then as you get into the cards, you'll see no more hits of purple on these. So a lot more just black and gold, kind of honeybee colors. The red cards are done in a kind of a yellow and gold, or two different shades of gold, and feature gold indices in the corner. So a lot less splashes of color in this one, but one thing I will say they fixed really nice on this one, because of the gold indices in the corner, you do get nice contrast between the black and the red cards. So to me, this is a much more playable deck than the purple version is. So still nice distinction in the pips, a lot of the same art style, just some of the colors changed up. Less purple, a little bit more yellow and gold in these compared to the purple version of the deck. And that is the quick look at the white version of the deck. Both absolutely beautiful. I'll say between the two, I'm kind of on the fence. I think I probably like the white version a little bit more, although I really like the purple tuck case a good bit more. But overall, I think the white decks fix some of the issues that the purple had with the non-contrasting indices and things like that, that really just kind of elevated it as the slightly better deck. Thoughts on the handling of the cards. Now these, like I said before, are printed by Taiwan Playing Card Company on their crushed stock, and they handle really beautifully, especially for a gilded deck. They came out of the box a little bit stuck together, but once I got them unstuck, really smooth, soft handling, nice sturdy feeling card, and they fan beautifully. That thin poker border really shows up nicely. So great job by Taiwan Playing Card Company. Excited to see them used in more and more campaigns. But overall, a beautiful deck of cards. This is probably the best looking of the three decks that Ark did. Now, a couple of knocks I will say against Ark for the Kickstarter campaign. I wish, honestly, that they'd done these three decks as three different campaigns. I think they're so different when you look at this versus Reminisce and Vertical. I think they could have done three separate campaigns and really kind of driven home the point or the theme on each one of them a little bit more separately. And honestly, these gilded decks, while I was lucky enough to get a hold of one here, you really have to go after the higher tiers in the campaigns, buy lots of decks to even qualify for the gilded versions of the decks. Not a big fan of campaigns when they do that. I'm a big fan of much simpler campaign structures where you can get a hold of the gilded decks without needing to buy 3-4 different decks before you can even unlock the gilded versions. That said, it's still a really interesting campaign. Whether you go for one deck or go for all three, definitely one worth checking out. So I'll keep that link down in the description where you can check out the campaign if you'd like. And of course, go check out the other two videos if you want to see what Reminisce and Vertical are all about as well. But thanks for checking out Rebirth with me. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.